Guys, I'm running out of doctors. Jodie's lasting another year, so I guess no 5 best or worst of 13 is coming soon, which means I now have a really tough selection pool. Hence today we're here with the best and the worst of the 9th Doctor. Basically I'm going to do the normal Mr. Chicken Movies top 5 best formula, with 2 parts being combined into one story as per usual, plus in the middle I'm including the worst, because being completely honest, there's only one 9th Doctor story that I really dislike. For the longest time, the 9th Doctor was known as the guy that only had 10 stories. God bless Big Finish. So yeah, there's only really one 9th Doctor story that I outright dislike. And as I have to say in all these videos, this is my own opinion, you get the shtick. If you agree, if you disagree, tell me in the comments down below. And as always, I have to say, spoiler warning for the whole of Series 1. And without further ado, let's begin.
Fantastic.
Doctor Who came back, and it's all, well, not all, due to this episode. This episode brought Doctor Who back so well, and I feel like it really well encapsulates what the show is about in terms of its style, in terms of its themes, and it also introduces a lot of important elements to come. For starters, one of the strengths of this is Rose herself. They really ground the story very well around her, and they give it a nice slow pace to drip feed us with all of the information we need as new fans of this show. And with it, there's so much energy to how this story is presented, but as well as that, it's able to keep a slow pace whilst also speeding it up very well. I also think that the cast of this episode are really good. In particular, of course, let's talk about him. Christopher Eccleston, he is fantastic. In this episode, they give us a really good introduction to his character here. And yeah, I feel like he adds a lot to it. The humour of this episode is really good as well. Is it very cheesy and at some points incredibly dated? Yeah, but it's early 2000s Doctor Who. I don't really know what you're expecting there. The Autons are back, that's another thing. And to be honest, they actually add some guilty pleasure elements to this story. But yeah, it's just a really great way of bringing back the show. It's nice and snappy. It sends us right into the show and immediately gives us a great image for what this new era of the show is going to be. You know you've got a great season of Who when a 2-part story like Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways is only at number 4. And I'm going to say it straight up, this is the best new Who regeneration story out there. But before I get into that, let's quickly talk about part 1, Bad Wolf. And we'll start off with, I really like the gimmick, if you will, of all of these TV shows, but in more horrifying ways. But, admittedly, a lot of these references are very dated. However, these are kind of completely saved by the cast. As a whole, all of the actors and the performances they give, they're so charming, they're so good. It actually kind of reminds me of a Big Finish story. Overall, we have a really good mystery going between these two, and some really great consequences of time travel that happens in previous episodes. It wraps up a lot of setup and mysteries effectively with the Bad Wolf element, and it's surprisingly emotional at points, in particular with the deaths of numerous characters, which adds a real level of intensity here. I mean, Jack dies in this story. We also have Linda, whose death is really well handled. As a whole, the direction of the story is really good. But of course, we also have the emotional element of Rose and the Doctor's part. It's very dystopian, to the point where you don't know how it will actually end. But then, of course, we have the Daleks, and there's not one of them, there's a whole army of them, and they are absolutely terrifying in this. There's some clear stakes, some clear consequences. Some great dialogue, and it's just emotional in all places, and it has a massive impact too. I really like what they do with the 9th Doctor's arc here, and that of course leads us to the regeneration, which is one of the more simplistic ones out there. You could say it's a bit corny at some parts, but honestly, I really like it. It's heartfelt, to the point, has plot relevance, and it's not drawn out in the slightest. And for that, I've got to give this story credit for giving us one hell of a regeneration story. At number 3, we have Father's Day, and this is the first real Doctor Light episode out there. This focuses much more on Rose than it does on the Doctor, and in particular this focuses a lot on the effects of time travel. It establishes them well, and because of that it has some real heart in it. It's a nice change of pace. Like I said, it's Rose focused, and the character drama and the time travel, they interweave very well, and as a whole this story is well done from a drama perspective. It's able to give us a consistent feeling of threat and some good consequences while still giving us a relatively slow pace. But yeah, it's got some great acting from Eccleston, from Billy Piper of course, and all the supporting cast. And yeah, I don't really know what to say about this. It's a very good arc to do with time travel, the consequences of time travel, and Rose's relation to her dad. And because of that, I've got to give it credit. It's even Christopher Eccleston's favourite story. In second place, we have easily the scariest Dalek story out there, because this episode is honestly terrifying. I really love the way they present the Doctor's PTSD and his violence towards the Daleks. And yeah, this is a really good episode for this Doctor. The direction is absolutely fantastic. I love how claustrophobic and tense the whole story is, but as well as that, we also have these really good themes of corporation. We have people dying pretty much left, right, and center because of this Dalek. And yeah, this is a really well-paced story. It has some fantastic production design, some great camera work, and we have some really interesting themes. Who really is worse, the Doctor or the Daleks? And from that we have Rose as a really good foil here to the Doctor. All of the themes about a Dalek being good or wanting to die and the Doctor being a good Dalek, it's set up here, and it's set up so brilliantly that this episode is just a must watch for any Doctor Who fan out there. In my opinion, it is in top 5 Dalek stories of all time. It's brilliant. While I leave you guys some time to guess what my favourite Ninth Doctor story is, hint, it's not so surprising, let's quickly go through the worst one, and it's The Long Game. And the main thing I want to say is, I'm sorry Russell, but I just don't care. This story is very uninspired in my opinion, and it's mainly due to the fact that there are 2 plot lines. In particular, there's the Adam Mitchell storyline, and I'm sorry, I don't know Adam that well as a character. I get why he's here, I get the point of this storyline, but I just don't care. His subplot is annoying. The effects look terrible, it uses stupid technology. It just doesn't work in this episode. And because of that, Rose kind of does absolutely nothing in this story other than look at things. Which leads us to our actual main part of the plot, which ironically, due to screen time, is basically the B plot of the story. Which is, there's a ceiling monster which is controlling stuff, and it's just dumb, okay? This is really a stereotypical Doctor Who story. There's just nothing it really provides to the table. It's slow-paced, but above all else, it's boring. It's just very uninteresting. 2 plot lines going at once fail to make you really invested in one of them. Like, in some of the stuff it's trying is, you know, it's good, okay? I like a lot of the ideas they have here, and heck, Simon Pegg's in it, but that just doesn't save it from intense mediocrity. And the best Ninth Doctor story out there has to be the 2-parter, The Empty Child and The Doctor Dances. This is a combination of so many great ideas that just culminate in a fantastic story. For starters, going through the characters, this is the one that introduces us to Captain Jack Harkness, and he's such a likable presence in this story. He adds a new dynamic to the already established 9 and Rose one, and subsequently all 3 of these characters have a huge amount to do. I love the way the 3 bounce off each other, and the subsequent character development is brilliant in this story. This is of course also set in the war, and I really like the wartime setting. I think it allows us to have some great direction, some really good production design, and it has an added element of, well, horror. Because this honestly is again one of the creepier Doctor Who stories. This is a genuinely scary story with some good stakes here, and it has a brilliant pace which leaves you always guessing and always slightly unsettled. I think for the time this also has some really good effects in it. I feel like a lot of the cliffhangers that it uses are very effective. We have the mother character in this who makes for a great side character in the story, and her acting is really good as well. We have a very good mystery here of what the empty child is, what he wants and all that, and the full culmination of all that, the payoff we get from that is just brilliant. This is probably one of Moffat's best scripts. But yeah, I just love how it's able to take these horror elements, these wartime elements, all of this weird horror stuff, and then able to make you laugh a minute later. It's just got such a great script, such a brilliant pace, and such heart and style to it. That's the other thing, the ending to the story is just so nice. It warms my heart, and it just solidifies how good Eccleston can be. We have a story that just straight up has a happy ending, a light at the end of the tunnel, and for such a dark and twisted story, it's great to see an ending like this. This is nothing short of fantastic. And that's it for another Doctor. God, I'm really burning through these guys, and I'm going to be done with another one by the end of this year. Oh dear God. I'll actually have to come up with original content. Shameful. Anyway, thank you very much guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to follow my Twitter at MrChickenMovies, and let me know down in the comments below what you think of the 9th Doctor era as a whole and some of these individual stories. Did I leave anything out? Was I too harsh on the long game, or was I too nice to some of the stories here? Let me know down below. I'd also like to thank Veritaserum UK once again for his fantastic trailer footage that I've been using in here, and I'm sorry I've said the word fantastic so many times, but it's fitting, right? It's a 9th Doctor video. Once again, thanks guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment, and I see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.